58% of men want to marry a woman and stay with her for life. Are they wrong? Additionally, in the poll that I've got running on the community section of my YouTube channel, 18% of men want to have relationships with many women throughout life. Are they wrong? If not, how about the 9% of guys who want to stay with one woman for life without getting married? And finally, the 15% of guys who still aren't sure about their relationship goal with women. So who is right and who is wrong? Well, as it turns out, there are no right ways to live life. Instead, there are expected ways to live life. Expectations on how to live life change from country to country, city to city, and family to family. In a small city, for example, there may be hundreds, if not thousands of different ways that people believe life should be lived. Additionally, in a family that has 4, 5, or 6 children, they may grow up to live their life in different ways to each other. They may not all follow the same path. Now, the siblings in the family may look at each other and think that the other person is doing it wrong and they're doing it right. For example, a woman may think that she's doing it right by settling down and getting married early, whereas her sister may think that she's doing it wrong and that she should enjoy her life and travel and do lots of things before she eventually settles down. One of the brothers may think that it's best to get into a relationship with a woman but never get married, whereas another brother may think that he doesn't want to have relationships and he just wants to enjoy himself for life. Now, in terms of a man, what should a man do in today's world? The world is changing so much. The dating scene has changed. New medicinal technologies are coming along that are extending human lifespan and may extend human lifespan even more. The way that we work and live is going to change based on artificial intelligence becoming smarter and smarter, and so on. How is all of that going to affect relationships when people are living longer and they don't have to do the same type of work or work in the same type of way as they did before? What I think is that there are going to be so many changes over the next 20 to 30 years, but at the end of the day, men and women are still going to want to have long relationships with each other. So in terms of men, who is right and who is wrong? What should a man do in today's world? Let's have a look at some of the comments from the poll in the community section of this channel. One guy says, I know I'm capable of being with multiple women, but personally, it's better to have one for life. Besides, I prefer not to use condoms. Another guy says, divorced 1.5 years ago after 17 years of marriage. I'm 49, in great shape, small business owner, living in the San Francisco Bay Area, just going to enjoy spinning plates for a while. In other words, he's going to enjoy his choice of women for a while. Another guy says, getting married is a waste of time. Been there, done that. Another guy says that he wants to have relationships with many women throughout life, and his reason is, sadly, because so far 99% of women are completely psychotic. I have 6 sisters to back up my theory. Another guy says have relationships with several women, then later marry one woman for life. Finally, another comment here from a man who wants to marry a woman and stay with her for life. Interested in real life experience, sharing family, friends, travel, the good times and the not so good. With the last comment there, it may seem that that man is right. The only way to get real life experience is to get married, have a family, travel, have friends, and so on. Yet, that is correct based on what he wants and the way that he expects life to play out. Another guy can get real life experience in the way that he wants to live life by not getting married and not having a family. He may want to travel a lot, he may want to have many relationships with women throughout life and never settle down. Just live life based on what he wants to do, work on his projects or whatever he's doing, and enjoy the company of women who will come in and out of his life as the years go on. An important thing to point out here is that when a guy says that he never wants to get into a serious relationship with a woman, or that he only wants to have temporary relationships throughout his life, then he may stick to that for life, or he may change his mind at some point in time. He hasn't stuffed up his life by changing what he wants to do later on. You're allowed to go with what you want to do and then change your mind if you feel like changing your mind later on. Personally, that's what happened to me. I changed my mind about what I wanted, and I used to be very anti-marriage and anti-children, and now I'm married and my wife recently gave birth to our twin girls. So my relationship goal with women completely changed over time, and I don't feel like I've done anything wrong by doing that. I did what I wanted to do without worrying what others around me may expect of me and what they were doing in their lives. For example, I have a friend who saw his other friends settling down and getting married, and even though he didn't want to do it, he went ahead and married the next girl that he got into a relationship with. Then about 5 years later, they got divorced. He learned from that experience and realized that he shouldn't be living his life based on what everyone else around him is doing or expects of him. He should go with what he wants. And when the time is right, if he wants to change his mind and do something else, then he should go ahead and do that. But he shouldn't feel pressured into doing it because his friend is doing it or his brother or sister has done it. He should do it if he wants to do it and if it really is the best decision for him. So some guys watching this video will know my backstory, but for those who don't, I'll just explain now what eventually led me to accept my girlfriend's marriage proposal and now get to the point where we've had children and I'm a dad and I'm enjoying that side of life as well. So essentially what happened to me is that, like most guys, I didn't know how to attract women. I didn't know that you could actually make women feel attracted to you based on your behavior, how you talk to them, and so on. I didn't know that. As a result, I didn't have my choice of women. And one day I went to a house party and there was a backyard lawn area where everyone was drinking and there was music playing. And after a few drinks, I somehow got myself on the quote-unquote dance floor, and there was a girl there and she was a bit tipsy, I was a bit tipsy. We started dancing, one thing led to another somehow, and we started kissing. Then we got into a relationship and it was okay at the start, but I eventually became clingy, insecure, controlling, jealous, and so on. She really got sick of that and eventually cheated on me and then dumped me, and I was destroyed. I had no idea how to attract women. I had gotten her by pure luck and now I was on my own. Back then, there was no one online helping guys out about how to be successful with women, right? I was on my own. I didn't have any advice, anyone to turn to, and as a result, I couldn't get her back. I was lost, right? I lost a lot of confidence in myself. My insecurity deepened over time and I felt unworthy of attractive women. When I talked to attractive women, they just didn't find me attractive, right? The spark wasn't there because I didn't know how to make them feel a spark. I just talked to them in a friendly, nice, neutral way, and I hoped that they liked me for some reason. Yet, I didn't understand that you actually have to be able to create a sexual spark with a woman. Sometimes you'll meet a woman where a sexual spark will happen without you having to do anything, and that is called getting lucky. Yet, if you want to have your choice with women, you need to know how to create a spark of sexual attraction inside of a woman as soon as you start talking to her. You need to know how to do that, and you need to know how to build on that as you're talking to her. Back then, I didn't know that, but I knew that I had to do something about it. So I decided to go out every weekend and approach women until I worked out how to have my choice of women. So I went out approaching with a new friend of mine and I kept getting rejected. I walked up to women that I found attractive, but they didn't find me attractive, right? They weren't interested in me in that kind of way. Some women were nice and friendly and I was able to have a conversation with them, but it didn't go anywhere because I didn't know how to make them feel sexually attracted as I talked to them. Yet because I was persistent and I knew that there was something that I was missing, I eventually figured it out. I eventually figured out what to say and do to make women feel sexually attracted to me as soon as I started talking to them, and increasingly attracted to me the more we talked. As a result, I enjoyed my choice of women and I was able to have sex with women on the first night, have multiple women in my life at once, and I enjoyed that life for over 10 years. Then I met my perfect girl when I was 35 and she was 20. We settled down, we got into a relationship, and we've been together ever since. Now, when I met the woman who is now my wife, she quickly found out that I wasn't interested in marriage and I didn't want anything to do with having children. She was okay about that and she accepted it. She just wanted to be with me, and she didn't put any pressure on me to get married or start a family, but our relationship just got better and better over time. The love grew, the respect grew, the attraction grew, and when she eventually started asking if we can get engaged, I was still apprehensive about that. I was still like, oh, I don't want to go down that path. Why do we have to do that? What's the point? Yet eventually I started to open up to it because I started to look into the more positive side of the shocking divorce statistic. Right? When you see divorce statistics like 50%, for example, it means that 50% of marriages actually stay together. Now, not all those marriages are happy, but within that 50%, there are so many couples who have a relationship where the love, respect, and attraction grows over time. Personally, I felt like I could do that. I felt confident in my ability to do that. So I thought, why not? I went ahead with it, and it's been one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life. So essentially for me, I got married at 37. We eventually got to a position where we can get a house and stop renting when I was 39. And now I'm 41 and I've become a dad. Yet I know that for some guys watching this video, they may have the thought of, well, what if it all goes awry? What if you have some problems with her? What if the marriage breaks down? What if you end up getting a divorce? Right? What if you can't keep the relationship together? Well, the way that I think about the answer to that is it's sort of like saying, don't drive a car because you could get into an accident. There are so many accidents that happen, and you could be one of the people who have an accident and die, so don't drive. Yet, if you don't drive, then you don't get to experience all the fun and freedom that can come with driving. Of course, there are all sorts of negatives that can happen with driving, but there are all sorts of positives that can happen as well. And you only get to experience that if you do it. So does that mean that every man should just get married to a woman and stay with her for life? Absolutely not. What every man should do is what he wants to do, with the understanding that what he wants to do may change over time, right? He may be at a point in his life where he thinks that he just wants to have sex with lots of women. I personally went through that for 10 years, but I eventually changed. I eventually changed and wanted a relationship. And then I eventually changed and accepted a marriage and opened up to having children, and now I've got twin daughters. Have I done the right thing, or have I made a mistake? I've done the right thing based on what I want from women, right? I wanted to enjoy my choice of women, and I did that. Then I wanted to have a relationship, and I did that. And it got better and better and better. Then I opened up to the next levels of that relationship, and now I'm getting to experience that. So here is one of the important lessons to take away from this video. A man can be accomplished and happy without a family or with one. And a man can be sad and lonely with a family or without one. There are pros and cons to each choice you make, but I recommend focusing on the good things that you want in life and then moving in that direction, knowing that it's possible and common for people to experience the good things that you want from that particular area of life. For example, if a guy wants to have sex with lots of women and never settle down, he can focus on the fact that there are men out there who live their life that way, and it's okay, right? He's not wrong by doing that. Some people may say that he's wrong. They may criticize him. They may expect him to do something else, but he's not doing anything wrong. He's just living life in the way that he wants to live it. Likewise, if a man wants to settle down with a woman and never marry her, he's not doing anything wrong, right? If he wants to go down that path in life, he can do that. Other people may say that he is wrong. They may criticize him. They may expect him to do something else, but he is allowed to live that life if he wants to. He should also know that he may change his mind in future. He may change and think that he doesn't want to remain settled down with that woman and wants to go back to being single, or he may change and think that he wants to marry her, commit to her, have a family, build a family life together, and enjoy lifelong experiences together. He's allowed to do that. Likewise, if a man wants to marry a woman and stay with her for life, he may get criticized by some people. Some people may think that he is wrong, but if he goes down that path and he really wants to enjoy that path and go through the levels of that path, such as having a family, raising the children, having lifelong experiences together, and so on, then he's allowed to do that. So I hope this video helps you understand that you're not doing it wrong. You're just doing it in the way that you want to do it. You're allowed to live your life in the way that you want to live your life. Just know though that you may change your mind next week, next year, 5 years from now, or so on. You may decide that you want something else, and that's okay. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something from it. If you'd like to learn more, I have 2 recommendations for you. The first recommendation is for the single men watching this video, and the second recommendation is for the men who are in a relationship or a marriage with a woman, or men who want to get into a relationship with a woman and make it work. The first recommendation is The Flow. This is my ebook, which is also available on audio. It's the easiest way to get laid or get a girlfriend. It's everything that you need to know to go from hello to sex with a woman that you find attractive. The second recommendation is make her love you for life. This is my relationship program, and it will teach you how to make a woman respect you, feel sexually attracted to you, and be totally in love with you for life. When you use the approach that I teach in Make Her Love You for Life, her respect, attraction, and love increases over time. It doesn't fade away. One final point that I want to make for you in this video is that from now on, you may notice people unnecessarily fighting with each other based on their view of how life should be lived. You'll see people saying that this person is wrong because they want to live their life that way, and that person is wrong because they want to live their life that way. Yet what I think is that people should just let other people live life the way that they want to live it. There will always be a certain amount of people who agree and disagree with your goal with women. You may want to live your life with women in this way, and they may think that you should live it in that way. Yet there is no one way to live life. Instead, there are common expectations that people have. So you should just live the life that you want to live with women. You know what you want. So go after it and enjoy it.